People, welcome to the League Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Shane Youman. Joining me on this episode is another H-Town legend, former infielder and outfielder for multiple big league teams, Mr. Jason Bourgeois. Boosh. What's up, man? What's up, man? I had to have a little fun, man, with a little intro to keep things interesting and not be so serious, man. But I appreciate you hopping on, man. This is the 12th episode, so I'm making waves with it and whatnot, and to have you on to share your story is real huge, man. So a lot of people need to hear the different paths that athletes have taken to get to their highest level. So, man, I thank you for hopping on the podcast, bro.
No, I appreciate it, Shane, and congratulations on this podcast, man. This, it might be number 12 or so, but it's number 12, and I'm sure you're gonna be expanding. As you go in here, finding out those athletes, man, and their stories. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to be able to do.
Sure, man. Being shut down, not being able to do nothing during this COVID-19 forced me to jump in and do something creative. It's something that's been on my mind for a while, but just never really pushed forward to get it done. And just having that time off, it put me in a place to, you know what, man, let's get this thing going and see what happens. So that's where we at. For sure, man. But before we jump in, bro, we're going to tip our hat. We both repping. We got the Negro League tees on. You repping the sweatshirt. I got the T-shirt, Roots of Fight. Shout out CC Sabathia, man, for putting something together for the Negro Leagues to celebrate that 100-year anniversary. We both black baseball players, so, seeing those guys, even though it was way before our time, but hearing the stories about those guys and what they did to play baseball, not only with their league, but some of them breaking into playing in the big leagues is huge. It gave us that extra inspiration, even though we didn't get to see those guys play. So tell me one thing, man, about the Negro Leagues that kind of sticks with you or has always stayed with you.
Yeah, Shane, you know what, man? My dad put me on game early. He bought me a couple books. This sweatshirt that I'm wearing, this thing it's almost like 20 years old, real talk. Like, it has this old Negro League patch on it. It's actually from Kansas City. So, this one I hold close to me. Probably seen me posted on social media. But trying to educate me, man, like on Satch, on Josh Gibson, not to throw shade, but he was like, let me tell you something about, a guy that's better than Babe Ruth. That's out there. So that was kind of one of my first stories about my dad telling me one of the greatest home run hitters who ever lived, and Josh Gibson. So I was always a fan of that. Of course, Jackie breaking in, really, setting the standard, starting it off for us, man, in such a professional way. That's another thing, how going about repping Jackie. And it's crazy because I think it gets caught up a lot when everybody just have on a 42. But, man here, man, he was a humanitarian, man. I mean, he just did so much. He can rank up there with anybody, with Martin, with Malcolm, with, anybody in African-American history. So the Negro Leagues is just always close to the heart, and especially, honestly, the history of the game when it comes to black. Growing up, you want to see somebody that look like you on the field, and it inspires you, it motivates you, it gives you that belief. And so I always been a fan of it, bro. I always try my best to, reach back and make sure that I'm reading up on game, even if I don't know anybody that's new in the show. I kind of want to get to know them and their story and where they're from.
Sure, that's what it's all about, man, and definitely talking about the Negro Leagues, the 100-year anniversary, hearing about a lot of those players, mainly Jackie Robinson because he broke the color barrier, a couple other guys, Don Newcomb, you mentioned Satch, you mentioned Josh Gibson, Cool Papa Bell, who was a speedster type guy. If you think about you played with speed, a guy like that you can easily compare yourself to. a bunch of others, man. A lot of guys that didn't get the opportunity to break through and play in the big leagues, but they were able to still play the game that they love at a high level because they had a league of their own. And we talking about Jackie, man. You know, great read, bro. Great read right here. Never had it made, bro. You know, they celebrating him right now. You know, in MLB, didn't get to do it in April, so they're doing it right now with the 42 jerseys, like you said earlier. But before we jump into the meat and potatoes of the podcast, man, shoot, 20 years ago you got drafted, man. Salute to that. That's a milestone in itself when you really think about it, right? I mean,
it's crazy.
20 years ago, dog.
You know, when you're a kid, you always say, "Yeah, I'm gonna play 20, years in the big leagues, 20 years in the show." You know, that's always the goal. But of course, you know, that ride is not always as it seems. And I'm blessed, you know, first of all, to come out of high school from the city, you know, Forest Brook High School, the Brook Dogs stand up, you know. I'm always,
that's what's up. You got to rip.
You know, it's not in existence anymore. They made it into a middle school and now it's shut down. Long story on that. I hate to see it, but, you know, it's something that happened. But yeah, man, came out of high school in 2000. My neighborhood was real influential. Playing Little League ball with Mike Bourne, Carl Crawford. My neighborhood, man, we played baseball in the street. So not only was my high school, you know, a big influence being all black, but just my neighborhood being, you know, just baseball guys, you know what I mean? In the street, just loving the game. And Dwayne Frazier, who was a real big part of how I came up organizationally with the Twins at Smokey Jasper Park. Now, he was a guy that actually played in the big leagues. And he actually, you know, moved to that side of town, dove into Little League ball with his kids, developed the organization. He helped out with that ballpark, just getting it together. Parents was just so huge. So before even talk about being drafted, I got to pay homage to how I came up. If it wasn't for them and those parents and that influence and the guys that I played next to, like it wouldn't be, you know, no Jason Bourgeois in the big league.
For sure. And I had Mike Bourne, our homeboy, a few episodes back, and he mentioned Smokey Jasper. That was kind of like y'all Negro Leagues. He said had a lot of brothers out there balling, playing baseball, a lot of people doing some positive things. You said that was your start. We're gonna start this journey, the Jason Bourgeois journey to the big leagues. But before we do that, man, I'm just thinking, and this just kind of came to my head chilling. You know how some, I guess, coaches and managers in pro ball, they always give somebody nicknames with the I-E or Y at the end. Did they call you Bougie?
You know it day one. You know what's crazy is that carried for so long too. Bougie or JB, Bougie, right? Yeah. And you know I got it. My dad got it. My uncles got it. Everybody got it. Bougie. It's something that comes with the name. But it's so funny because now with the Dodgers, all of a sudden it switched up to Bug. For some reason, like they just caught on a JB. The JB.
You're OG now.
I guess they put a little respect on
it. For sure. I just thought about that, man. Just thinking about how the coaches always gave people nicknames with those, either the IE or the Y at the end. It served good for you, but Bougie. You live in LA now, bro. I don't know. You might be bougie now.
Man, don't hit me. Hey, let me tell you. I ain't forgot.
Okay, I see you repping that Rockets hat too, man. So I know them boys doing some damage in the playoffs. Hopefully they make that run like they want to. We're gonna jump into that too along that journey. But it's the weekend, man. You from H-Town. You know, we know the culture, the music, you know, the cars. We're going to hop in that slab. We're going to hop, you know, we're going with them swingers and vogues on that thing, and we're going to go on that Jason Bourgeois journey, bro. So let's we're going to take it easy, nice and slow. When you hop in the slab, you ain't trying to go too fast. You're just cruising, nice and slow. You mentioned Smokey Jasper, right? You mentioned your high school. Smokey Jasper, as we know, is a real competitive league. I think you guys won state in Little League one year, right?
TTAB, that was the name of the association we was affiliated with. And actually, it took my team, a while to win a championship coming up there. But I actually won 4 championships with Mike Bourne's team, the Angels.
Yeah.
So how it went was we had to pretty much play and represent, you know, our organization and our park. You know what I mean? But they can pick up 3 players from other teams and, you know, at our park to go ahead and form and go travel to like Killeen, Brenham, and all these little, you know, towns around Texas. that's under that affiliate TTAB. So they happened to we lost the championship to them for like 4 or 5 years in a row, and finally the 6th time, my dad, who was more deserving, coaching all those years, seeing us take that L, the win finally over Mike being the Angels. But for like 6 years in a row, no, 5 years, I'm sorry, in a row, it was with our age group. It was the Twins versus the Angels. And then when they got called Crawford, they just made it even worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so they picked me up, and then the last year we finally beat them, man. But man, it's such a great time. I'd give anything to go back, and hopefully I can tell that story one day. That's a goal of mine.
Anyway, we will have you back on the podcast. We'll have maybe I can get all 3 of y'all on there. Mike B, you, Carl Crawford, and we do a 4-guy episode of the League Talk podcast. Might have to break it in parts, but we might be able to put that out there one of these days. So rumor has it, man, coming up, you's the fastest guy out of the 3. That's the rumor around town or around the 8.
That's no, I don't know. Maybe it just looked like I was hustling hard. I can't take that, man. Those cats is on a different level. I mean, hey, look, numbers don't lie. Each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? They put up numbers back to back. Now coming up, we were pretty even, but once we hit high school, Mike and Carl kind of started leaving me a little bit when it came to the that 1-2.
Gotcha.
There's some special athletes, man. They play 3 sports. So that goes into like that speed and agility and becoming more of an athlete. So man, I tip my hat to them. I mean.
Sure.
What they done in the game, man, I'm proud of them boys.
For sure. I mean, y'all have some guys that can ball that came from the H-Town area in the same age group, man. You're talking about you. We mentioned Mike. We mentioned Carl, C.Y., Chris Young, James Loney. And I'm sure I'm missing a couple guys. But y'all, that age group, man, y'all have a lot of guys that came up and did some big things on the big league level. Did you play any other sports coming up, growing up?
I played basketball as a youngster. One year of Pee Wee football when I was 10, I was like, nah. I knew early. I just didn't understand the game as much. You know what I mean? So I didn't like that contact, man. But I played basketball up to the 9th grade. And it's funny because I was on the 18 balling, right? You know what I mean? Little shooting guard. I ain't had no left hand, but we ain't going to talk about that. But, I'm running. I'm thinking everything cool at the beginning of the school year. And sure enough, football in, right? And so all those cats from football came over. Man, I was on the B team backing up. So the football coach, of course, was the baseball coach, head coach. She was like, hey, man, you going to be my starting shortstop, as a 9th grader. I was like, see ya, basketball.
See ya. That's what's up. At least you knew early, man. Some people.
I was blessed with that opportunity, man, to play. 9th grade on varsity. I don't care what school you're at. What league. How it's structured. That's huge.
Oh yeah.
What?
From a maturity level, you're facing guys that are 17, 18 years old. You 14, 15. You're facing guys that are pretty much, almost grown men when you look at it. And from that, playing as a 9th grader, you realize, like you said, playing basketball, football guys came over. I'm on the B team. The coach is like, hey, you got a chance to start as a freshman. It was an easy decision for you. You didn't try to fight it and say, man, I'm staying on this basketball team. Like, no, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this baseball thing because I got opportunity. So you go from Smokey Jasper, which was mostly black, if not all black, little league. You play there until you get to high school. You go to an all-black, pretty much predominantly black high school, right? Forest Brook High School, right? Yes, so sir. You were still in that comfort zone, being around people that you can relate to or identify with on the baseball field. Tell me how those years kind of panned out for you, knowing you got that starting job as a shortstop, going into your freshman year, on through the time that you graduated. Talk about that first year. Was it a lot of growing pains, a lot of learning experiences, or you just kind of hit the ground running?
Oh yeah, man. As in anything, you got to grow. To be successful. We had an older team that took care of me. You know what I mean? I actually played shortstop, but the second baseman was a senior, and he grew up 4 houses down.
Okay.
So all this stuff like connects. You know what I mean? Playing more baseball too. That helped me out. Right when I got to high school, I started playing in the summer. After our season was over. winter ball. My dad, man, thank God for him. He put me in the right place to succeed. You know what I mean? I can't take any credit for that. I couldn't drive at the time.
Salute to Pops, man. Salute. You got to salute Pops, bro.
Yeah. So, he was my first coach, my T-ball coach. And even during the summertime, he was my coach for the Brook, while I was there. So, big influence on me, man. I always tried to, put lessons in my lap. I remember watching Dusty Baker, old pop-in tape, cassette tapes. You had Marquis Grissom up there, line up your knuckles,
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll this, but like just little stuff like that throughout my high school career, and I was real fortunate enough to go to area code games right before my senior year. I think that was a big changing point in my career.
Got you. So you speak on that, and you said you have Pops in your corner every step of the way, giving you those little tips, those little intangibles that might separate you from a guy that's equally as talented as you. But the fact that you knew whether you're learning how to line up your knuckles or whatever, just looking at guys, studying the game, seeing what they do, and hoping you can take that and add it to your game, it developed you. Then you said you got to area code after your junior year. Is that the time you knew you had a shot, maybe either at getting drafted or playing college ball? When did you know you had an opportunity to get drafted or play college ball?
So college ball, I played a lot of high school ball at San Jack Junior College. And Coach Rupp was there at the time. I got along with him real well. I liked the school because of the history. They won a lot. You know what I mean? Around Houston, they were just known as having a great program.
Powerhouse.
Yeah. So here's somewhere I was like, constantly like getting reps at, working with their assistant coach every now and then. Like when it came to tournament ball, we played at that field. So I had a real good relationship with him early on, like almost like my sophomore year in high school when I started, playing a little bit, more travel ball.
Yeah.
So came my senior year, I was honestly just ready to go to San Jack. And after my junior year of high school, I was like, man, first day I'm signing with San Jack, I love this place. Like, I know some more friends that went there before me. So I just heard a lot of good things or whatever. And of course, it was close to home. So that was huge. That was huge. That played a big part in it, man. But what happened was I didn't know about the area code games really until that summer. Like it was just, everything happened so quick that I got a letter so quick. I go out to a tryout. And when I get there, I realized like, oh man, this is legit. This is like real deal for this tryout. Cause I'm looking at it and I used to read the paper at the and the names. I'm like, oh, these dudes here right now. So I get to that tryout, man, up at Texas A&M, did well, made the team, and off to the area code games I go in Long Beach. I get there, man. Like I said, this was, a big event. The only showcase I've been to. That was the only showcase at the time, which is a lot different now, of course. But the only showcase I went to, I was able to take advantage of it and get my name out there. Then I got back home and the phone started ringing like crazy.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. You talk about area code back. I'm a few years older than you, but I know that was like the creme de la creme when it comes to high school baseball and prospects going. Like you said, there's a lot of different showcases nowadays. Area code, I think, still reigns supreme. Perfect Game is probably trying to take over that top spot. But when you think area code games, you think legit prospects. And like you said, you went there with a lot of guys that were big time at the high school level. So you go there, you mentioned San Jack, you started getting those phone calls once you came back home from Long Beach. Were there any D1 schools that were interested in you or that you were interested in going?
Yeah, the phone rung early, and it was a mistake of mine. I didn't really prepare for the SAT test, and this was huge at the time, right? So since I didn't take it early enough, then I just said, you know what? I'm going to wait until later on and take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Half of school. It was a decision of mine because I felt like I wasn't prepared, honestly. And and my mom and my dad just wait. You're going to take it, prepare for it. And then I did later. But I think that turned a lot of schools off that I didn't take it before, that first half of that first semester of school, rather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like A&M wanted me like bad, and like UT wanted me. And man, they came to the house and stuff, popped in the tape. I'm like, oh man, this sounds dope. And they started about the SAT. I'm like, I'm not worried about that. And all of a sudden, you know, I go through that process. I eliminate them, and then Southern call. And I'm like,
yo,
I'm taking this trip. So I took the trip, man. Homecoming, you already know what it is.
Oh yeah, I was in college at LSU at the time, so I know, bro.
Yeah. You know Baton Rouge well, so you know I was sold. It was crazy because I was going to end up going there, and Ricky Weeks was going to be playing second. I was going to be playing short, which would have been dope.
Yeah, yeah.
But I end up, you know, signing. But what's crazy is I end up like signing a letter of intent to Arizona State. Now, I mean, now that's all said and done 20 years later, I probably wasn't going to go there. But negotiating purposes wise, I thought that was just a better move. And, you know, no disrespect to, you know, Arizona State, but they kind of knew what I was trying to do as well. And they didn't mind, like, hey, maybe you can come down here, take a trip. You might like it after all, but we'll get your name on paper for commitment. And so that's,
for sure.
That went down. But hey, it was SU, San Jack for me.
For sure. I feel you, man. And me and Mike, we was talking about that too, about thinking about guys that, you know, like you said, Ricky Weeks went there. You know, Mike said he got a little attention from the yard. And, you know, Fred Lewis came a year or so later. Just think about the squad. Mike Woods was there. Think about, well, he was leaving. He was going to leave. But think about the squad on the yard, bro. Like, I just named about 5 guys that, you know, that played in the big leagues or that had an opportunity to play pro ball. You're talking College World Series, bro, from that school. But you said something interesting, man. And I think a lot of kids need to hear that when you talk about you kind of procrastinated with taking the SAT and kind of, I guess, from that, other schools started to shy away from you. And I think not knowing, I don't know if you didn't know or whatever, or you just decided to push it to the side, but a lot of kids don't know to take care of that paperwork first, the clearinghouse. At least take the SAT or ACT one time, see where you stand, do it again. Once these coaches from the D1s know that you're doing that and putting forth the effort to take care of your classroom stuff, that makes you more attractive to them, and they kind of stay on your trail in recruiting. So for you to say that and to mention that maybe you should have done it a little bit sooner, taking care of business to set yourself up to have more leverage, even though you still had the leverage with Arizona State, you had the leverage in a draft with that, you probably would have had even more leverage if you would have took care of the business not necessarily in the classroom, but the extra stuff like taking the SAT test early enough to put yourself in position to have the other D1 schools coming at you and actually offering you real scholarship money. So kids need to know that, man, taking care of that business. Don't think, oh man, I can do that later, because next thing you know, you're a senior. Booze, you're getting your Letterman jacket, or you got it already. You're getting all the patches on it. You're getting the class ring together, or got it. You got prom. You know what I'm saying? You might be doing some other stuff. So you forget about all those things. But let's talk about that senior year, man. You ball out. Obviously, you're fresh off the area code, and you get that call. Well, did you know you was going to get drafted? Did you know where you was going to get drafted? Speak on that.
So, yeah, at the beginning of pretty much the 2000 season, my high school year, I started seeing more scouts, man. They were starting to show up about 15 a game. You know,
at the Brook, huh? At the Brook,
yeah. Well, we were Smiley, but we played. That was the whole district field. But yeah, at the Brook, they came to the hood, I guess, to watch me play, man.
Yeah.
And I just started gaining steam. I had a great year. I pretty much dominated. And I just kind of put it all together. I actually went to a couple of pre-draft workouts. I went to one for Houston, I think. I can't remember, Shane. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's all good.
But the one that stood out was Texas, and that's what I was drafted by.
Yeah.
And I remember me and my mom going down. I get there, man, and once I stepped out on that field, God was with me. I knew I was gonna show out. I ended up getting on my left side, hitting a couple homers, throwing really well, running a great 60. And I guess that's all they needed to see, because I ended up being the 4th pick Actually, no, the third pick in the second round of the 2000 draft by Texas.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that bank account, bro. That signing bonus. We ain't gonna talk about that. But second round back then, it ain't what it is now. But you still make a little cheese at that point in the draft. Was it an easy decision, or were you like, oh no, I don't know, I might want to go to school? Because you were a young senior, right? You were still 17 years old when you graduated, right?
Yeah, I was ready. Well, I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 18. I was ready to go play, honestly. But I did have to weigh out my options and try to be patient, to be treated fairly, of course, and see how that went, and seeing the option. Hey, what if I do go back and I see what can I get? Just by going to St. Jack for another year, I could have maybe boost my stock a little bit.
Yeah,
kind of bet on myself. But being from where I'm from, I wouldn't go turn that down.
Oh, hey man, I don't blame you. It's hard, man. Even these days. Even back then, it's hard. Second round, you're the third pick, fourth pick, or whatever, third pick of the second round. Mm-hmm. How do you pass that up? And you said, you came from the hood. The first offer they offer, you probably ain't seen that much money in your life. You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to negotiate. Obviously, the first offer wasn't going to be the best. But then you get that. I'm with you. You want to go play. Your dream was to play in the big leagues. Your dream was to follow in the footsteps of some of the guys you would see on TV. You mentioned Marquis Grissom. You mentioned Dusty Baker. Those guys were longtime big league ball players. You wanted to follow in those footsteps and be able to do the things that they did. So I don't blame you. Definitely, dog. Take the money. You got Pops in your corner. He's helping you continue to develop and learn things as a person. So when you sign, man, let's talk about that. You decide you're going to sign. Did it take you a while to actually put your name on that contract, or was it something that happened soon after the draft?
It took me about a little bit over 2 weeks, I think, and then I was gone. I wanted to make sure I got some of that Gulf Coast League action and got to playing and got down there. So I guess I don't know if 2 weeks is long or not, honestly. But I think that I was able to still get in about like 45 games, I think.
Yeah.
So that was short season. I think the short season was like 60 games. So I got in most of the games, you know what I mean? It was tough. That first year was tough.
Yeah, I bet.
But a lot of positive things. I ended up being roommates with Lance Nix. You remember Lance Nix?
Yeah, yep.
He was huge, man, because, and I say this all the time, when I'm being drafted, I'm in a position that I'm in now, and able to go into a room now, feeling confident. Rather, the 18-year-old me, I'll probably go in thinking like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So here's Lance Nix, Midland, Texas quarterback out of high school. It's kind of like that Friday Night Lights. Like, he the man. He knows how to be in a room with young blacks, young whites with one goal, right? So for me, coming out of high school, being from Forest Brook, being from Glenwood Forest on the north side of town, I needed a little balance and help, that somebody understood where I'm from, you know what I mean? That was real huge, you know what I mean? I know that's something that I was going to express to you, talk to you about.
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to mention to you earlier, especially now, I think it's kind of cool to talk about those stories and how to, make that transition from, they always talk about, man, where all the black players at? I mean, should they in the hood? They still playing.
Yeah.
Still playing. You know what I mean? They can't relate to that being in a room, like I said, being the only one. And I give a huge shout out to Lance and also my other cat, Jason Bourgeois, for kind of breaking the ice for me, letting me know that there's some real ones out there.
For sure, yeah, that's huge, man. Being that you played at Smoky Jasper, all black, mm-hmm. Forest Brook, all black. Now you amongst men and from different cultures. You mentioned black and white. You got your Latins. Maybe some Asians sprinkled in there from towards that I don't know, early 2000s, 2003. You start seeing a lot more Asians come over to play the game. To have those guys in your corner, I know it's kind of a culture shock to see. Like, man, I'm not used to seeing the diversity and the variety of guys because of where I come from. You said, man, maybe I'm thinking I don't need to be here. I'm in the wrong place. Even though talent-wise, you could play the game at a high level. Those adjustments did you have a lot of bumps in the road early on when it came to that, being able to fit in and kind of get along and play with other kids?
Yeah, I was a quiet cat, man, so I kind of kept to myself a lot. But really, that's who I was inside. I was this dude with a lot of energy, you know what I mean? Want to express myself, be myself. And so in order to do that, I had to go to some, you know, some trials and not take my at-bats, you know, home with me and, you know, learn the game, you know how it is. Being out on the road for the first time. My first year was tough, but, you know, I had an injury and it actually was a blessing in disguise. I was able to go to Pulaski 2001, get my name on the map. Now that was, I wouldn't say it was my first full season, but that was my first extended plus short season. So I got that under my belt, man, and things started getting easier, you know, start getting, you know, adjusted to pitching, to living, to, you know, being out on my own, being 18, 19, it was, I look back at it, man, you know, you don't want to, you're like, what are you thinking? But
yeah, I already know.
You got to go through it, man. It's, you need a support system. You know, I mean, your team is huge, you know, from either it be moms, pops, or a best friend or somebody in your corner that can influence you the right way, you know, to stay on track, because it's a lot of downtime for a youngster.
Yeah, definitely being away from home, like you said, you're still in a structured environment, but whether it's staying with a host family or you guys have to get apartments, it's a huge adjustment. Just left the house, you know, a year later, you're straight up on your own. Either you're eating out all the time or you got to learn how to cook and do all these things. It can definitely be a challenge. And a lot of guys, they lose it by the way they conduct themselves off the field. On the field is easy because it's something you love doing. But when the lights go off and it's time for you to go home, how do you take care of your business in that setting? That's what separates a lot of guys from either being minor leaguers or being big leaguers, along with some skill, obviously. But you know, you're rolling through, you're breaking into pro ball with the Rangers after signing. When did you get traded? You got traded to the White Sox, right? From the Rangers. When did that happen?
I had a couple of more stops before that. I was actually, and I'll try to give you the short version of it, but in 2005, I got picked up off waiver spring training by the Braves. So I go to Richmond.
Really?
I go to Richmond 2005 with the Braves, 1 year only. Minor league Rule 5 after that, 2006, to Seattle, Double-A, San Antonio. Then I signed free agent 2007 with the White Sox, minor league contract, first free agent year of minor leagues.
Gotcha.
2007, I go Birmingham, Charlotte. 2008, Charlotte, September, big leagues.
Gotcha. Damn, I didn't know you had them two stops in between. I thought you went from the Rangers and got traded over to the White Sox. So were you on a 40 man or something when you were on waivers? You got picked up by Atlanta?
I did, yeah. 2005 spring training, yeah. It was my second year on the roster. I thought I had a decent enough year to maybe get a shot. I get in the camp, man, and I caught the flu twice.
Yeah.
I didn't stay on the field. And sure enough, when I came back after that second time, Ian Kinsler had his year before, and they were plugging him in. You know, they wanted him to get the job. And well, he balled out. But they wanted him to be the man at the time. So they took me off, and the Braves picked me up.
So talk about that, man, because you have an interesting story, interesting journey. Would you consider yourself a journeyman when you talk about your professional career and having those stops in a few places before you really got your just due and playing in the big leagues?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to almost. I mean, 9 organizations within this 19 year plan career. Yeah, journeyman, if you want to call it. You know, I took it year by year. I always believed and thought I could play at the highest level. It was all about timing. You know, it's God's work. You know what I mean? I'm a Christian, man. I believe in that. I had to wait my time. You know, of course, we all get tested.
For sure.
maybe think something else is better out there for us besides baseball. But, you know, he kept on blessing me, man, and kept on showing up. I kept on showing up, too. And I was able to put together a little time.
That's what's up, man. Just thinking about, like you said, you know, you're riding high, doing well with the Rangers. You get sick during the spring training that you thought you had a legitimate shot of making the team or at least getting some big league time. Then Ian Kinsler comes along, they plug him in, make that change with you, go to Atlanta, then from Atlanta, Seattle, Chicago. Mentally, man, just think of, the roller coaster ride. Mentally, how did you handle that? You said you're a Christian man, obviously. A lot of that had something to do with it. But was it ever a time you was like, man, why am I doing this? Or you said that it might be something better than baseball for you, but you stuck with it. Was it something somebody told you, something you kind of got on your knees and prayed about? Just seeing your homeboy still playing at a high level? What was that one or two things that kind of helped you to like really push and continue to fight, man?
Yeah, you know what? The numbers I feel like were there. I feel like I put together 2 full seasons with like no excuses. Like, okay, I put down the work. I did everything right. I ain't pissed nobody off for 2 years straight in the same organization. And it's crazy, man, just how God works. I started off that season, man, just terrible, 2008. I was hitting every ball hard. I just right at guys, I remember, man. And Mark Bumbard called me in the office one day because I was in Scranton and I hit a ball to center field on the line. This was like beginning of May. I'm having this tough April. Hit a ball to center field on the line, and I run right to the dugout because I'm just sick of it.
You know what it is already.
I just like, come on, dog. Like, man, I can't hit any balls harder than I'm doing right now for this man. I might have had like 7 punch outs in a month. Only 7. Like, I'm putting the ball in play, right? So he called me in the office and said, hey, man, the GM of the Yankees in the stands. What you doing? You know what I mean? And he had always had good timing. He was always on point and direct. He was real. You know what I mean? And he said, hey, man, like, you can't do that. Like, you might have messed up our opportunity right there. No one wants to deal with that guy, that can't take it out. You know what I mean? That house, like that energy nobody wants. And he know I wasn't that type of guy. I was just going through a bad spell. But when he said that, and that just, I lost it. I was tripping. You know what I mean? Like, Doug, it's a GM, another major league scout. Yeah, I'm in the stands, rather. And I'm out here tripping. And that caught me on fire. Right after that series, man, I just stuck to the process, made a few adjustments, and I got hot, and I actually ended up, finishing up around 285. And I remember getting in my car, driving home, like, with tears in my eyes, thinking I'm never going to get this call. This was at the end of 2008. I'm never going to get this call, man. I'm driving, I'm calling home, calling my boys, thinking where I can go or whatever. But I end up going to, like, OKC to chill for, like, a few days before I went home because I just couldn't go home.
Yeah, I feel you.
I just got in my car, man. I just drove. I'm just like, dog, like, is it going to happen? Should I try to go somewhere else? Like, should I try Mexico right now? I heard it's a league down there. Just like, I just felt like, I mean, don't get me wrong. The money was great as you get higher. But the ultimate goal is like, well, shoot, I can get cut anytime. I'm a free agent. I didn't know what I would do. I just know I was just one cut away all the time, for a few years straight. But not knowing what I know now, having that year like I had, gaining that information, I was actually on the right track. I just hold on. Yeah. 5 days later, man, I wake up to a phone call in OKC. Carlos Quentin goes down. And they needed me in the big leagues, like 5 or 6 days as September rolled in. So
that's what's up, man. And for the coach that pulled you to the side or into the office and said, hey, man, get your mind right. You can't be doing what you're doing. It was some frustration. Obviously, like you said, you're hitting the ball on the screws. You got nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
That continues to happen over and over again. You're going to reach a tipping point to where it's like, bruh. And you even said it to yourself, man, I'm starting to look for different options now. What should I do? I'm not going to get that call. You're crying. And just in a nick of time, a few days later, you get that call because somebody went down in the big leagues. Yeah. Speak on that, man. When you got that call, like, you thought it was a joke. What went through your head when it was like, hey, Jason, we need you up here?
Nah, I didn't think it was a joke. So the night before, crazy story. My guy Dwayne Wise,
D Wise.
D Wise, man. He called me the night before randomly, and I was watching Sports Center, and I saw Carlos Quinn go down. I'm thinking to myself that night before, damn, who did go call up? Now, if I tell you, I never thought of myself. I thought of myself. I knew I wasn't on the roster.
Yeah.
I'm home now. I didn't know this stuff worked like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, shit, who did go call him now? I'm thinking to myself, damn, who's ready? I ended up going out that night, man, waking up, honestly, not feeling the best.
For sure.
early morning. And I recognized his voice, the assistant GM at the time, and Han, actually, the GM now, he called me and told me that they needed me, man. And man, crazy feeling. Here I am. I show up to the game late, Griffey running off the field. Jim told me in there.
Oh, you with them legends.
Yeah, man. They was on the back end of their careers, but they still goats.
Still, I don't care, bro.
2008 playoff team, yeah. So I got a chance to kind of experience a little playoff action. I wasn't on the roster, of course, but just had a chance to be around some legends.
For sure, man. I mean, that's all you can ask for, especially you breaking in. You said you had DYs that was in your ear a little bit.
Yeah.
And you were thinking, oh, man, who they going to call up? Not knowing, lo and behold, it was going to be you. I think that's around the time I got to know who you were, because I think you have some cousins from New Iberia, where I'm from, the Pradier twins, Jason and Jeremy. I think I was grinding it out at that time in independent ball, and they told me about you, and you had just got called up and stuff like that. So the legend of Jason Bourgeois started then in 2008 when you got that first call to the big leagues. But talk about that experience, man. That first year you said you were part of a playoff team. You had Tome, you had Griffey. Although towards the end of their careers, I mean, you're sharing the locker room, you're sharing a clubhouse with these guys, you're on the plane with these guys, you're taking BP with these guys. So talk about that influence early on. D. Wise was a vet at the time. He had been with the Braves, Cincinnati. He had been around for a while. Speak on that experience, man, when you got that call.
Oh, man. I mean, to be in a playoff push, literally went 0 to 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just not knowing, we all want to hear, hey, you're getting a call up at the end of at the beginning of September before Labor Day. You know what I mean? It's getting that call. Everybody dream about that moment. You know what I mean? And when it didn't happen for me, like I said earlier, it really, it hit me tough. So now I'm bouncing back and I'm thinking to myself, boom, here we go. Now everything's kind of happening fast and I'm trying to slow down. Only got 3 at bats. I was able to go, hit a double or whatever. But that experience in the big leagues for me, I just tried to soak it in. Everything was real veteran-like around there. Man, we couldn't even sit on the couch. I didn't even want to sit on the couch because you comfortable? You comfortable around here?
Yeah.
So everything was just straight laced. Work early, keep your mouth closed, watch the game. You know what I mean? I try to take it in as much as I can. They didn't give me really an indication on my future with them. But sure enough, they take me off the roster that off season, and I ended up signing free agent with Milwaukee.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's crazy nowadays, and I get it. Go ahead, let the kids play like they say. But certain guys nowadays, you walk in there, you don't even have a day in the big leagues. You got 2 lockers. You know what I'm saying? You living in heaven.
I shared a locker, bro.
You see what I'm saying?
In the big leagues. Let me tell you about this. Chris gets in the big leagues, right? I get there, I'm like, oh shit, I'm sharing a locker. Hey, I'm just saying that to myself, but I ain't saying that. All right, I'm gonna. It took about 3 days, 2 days, and Jim Tomei noticed it. He's like, wait a minute, are y'all sharing lockers? He was like, hell, no way. So the video guy had a locker at the time.
Yeah.
It's get your shit in the video. Oh, man.
That's what's up, man.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
You're in the big leagues, man. Exactly. What can you say but a veteran took care of you? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And speaking on that, man, and you mentioned going to Milwaukee the next year as a free agent. The short amount of time you had in Chicago, did somebody get you a suit? Did somebody buy you anything or do anything for you?
Nah.
Or when did that happen?
I no, honestly, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys are always like, we out to dinner, come out to dinner, pay for, everything's first class. They are, always on that tip. But on a personal note, not from the White Sox team, but when I got to Milwaukee, being around my dog Ricky Weeks, Mike Cameron, Prince Fielder, Jason Kendall at the time was a vet on that team. Trevor Hoffman was a vet on that team. Now here I go again in the building with a lot of vets.
Yes.
And I learned a lot, man. But, Mike Cam, that's who bought me my first one.
That's what's up.
So I appreciate that from Mike Cam, man. True pro, bulldog on the field, always focused, ready to take your head off, even at the time when he was on the back end.
For sure. That's what that one thing when you get to the league, that veteran take you under his wing, get you geared up, make sure you're right for the road trips. For me, my first year, I got one from Solomon Torres. It wasn't a tailored suit though. He sent us to me and Rajay. He sent us to Burlington Coat Factory. He had a suit guy over there.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
We got a little suit, but the next year in spring training, and I share my stories. I don't talk a whole lot about my deal, but I share my stories, on every episode. But after the Burlington suit, I come into spring training in 2007, and I got to know Sean Chacon. He was traded over from the Yankees in 2006. He was with the Pirates. We kind of hit it off a little bit in 2006, and then spring training in 2007. We finished working out, and maybe you had a similar situation, but I'm in my locker, man. I'm about to shower. You're like, hey, Sugar Shane, come over here, man. Come outside. So I walk outside, bro. It's about 5 chicks outside. I'm like, what's up? So I'm thinking he about to, introduce me to something, right? But it's the suit girls from LAV. Yeah, LAV. So my eyes got big.
Yeah.
So, that was my first tailored suit with Chacon back in 2007. So he was a guy that took care of me, when I came up in the big leagues and stuff like that. So, man, how much time did you spend with Milwaukee? And when did you make that transition from the infield to the outfield? Was it at that time as well?
Actually, I started moving around 2007.
Okay.
I was able to get some time in the outfield in AA and got up to AAA. Chris Getz, who was playing second base, was playing every day, of course. So I was only sprinkling in at second, but I started playing the outfield every day pretty much in 2008. Had some arm issues, you know what I mean, that I kind of played through. So, I wasn't as accurate in the infield as I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. Probably kept me out in the outfield with going back and forth. I think I took a toll. I wasn't in a position to go in and sit for a while, so I kind of just dealt with a lot of bicep tendonitis.
Yeah.
But I got through it. Was able to get. So I started off the season in Nashville in 2009 and got a call around August with Alcides Escobar.
Gotcha.
Maybe July, August time or whatever. Able to finish out the season there. And with the Brewers in about 2.5 months, I think.
Gotcha. That's what's up, man. And, you speak on those arm issues that you started to have, in 2008 probably. Was that, you stuck through it, you fought through it because you knew ultimately you want to be able to get to the big leagues. And if you stop playing, then that opportunity will probably just fade away. But was it tough making a transition from the mental side, going from playing second base, shortstop, something you did your whole life, to now going into the outfield?
Yeah, man, it was, I worked my tail off, in the infield, man, trying my best to perfect the position, coming up as a priority guy. That's
yes.
Pushing
people on the side.
You trying to get in where you fit in. It's funny because I remember a scout telling me, man, they have you as a plus outfielder now. Like, plus outfielder? I just been playing it like a year and a half. But what happened, I started hitting. That's the thing that changed. When I'm not gonna lie to you. When I played the infield, I could care less. Hitting was secondary. I don't say care less, but hitting was secondary. I always took my defense, at the highest priority. You know what I mean? So when I can contribute on the offensive side, it was like cool. But if I made an error, I was in the wrong position, like it's just hunting me. What I mean? I don't know why, because I was just perfectionist like that. I wanted to get it done. So when I moved out into the outfield, something happened. I don't know, a relief. I don't know. I just said, you know what? I'm just concentrating now more on hitting because now that I'm in the outfield, no offense, but at the time, you can get away with being a subpar outfielder.
Yes.
Defense wasn't really a priority, back in 2007 and 8. You know what I mean? You can work on it in the minor leagues. Now it's a little bit different when grading a guy. You want the guy to have all 5 if possible, especially on defense. You want him to have that tool. But man, I figured it out with the bat a little bit. Shane, I started hitting the ball the other way with authority. I was a tough out. I knew what I could do. I trusted it. And I was able to put up some, pretty decent numbers at the AAA level.
That's what's up, man. And definitely making that adjustment. That's what the game is all about. It's a game of adjustments. You're able to do that, obviously, with a good support system, as you mentioned earlier. And although you're bouncing around, you're keeping that level head. So you, like you said, now we're on that journey. We're in Milwaukee. We played last 2.5 months of the season at the big league level. From there, let's continue to roll it out, Booj. Where do you go from Milwaukee? Because you got a lot of big league time, even though it's with different teams, but you were able to stick around. You were that guy that I can plug in at second base if need be, or any outfield position as well. So let's talk on where you went in 2010. And I know you got to go back to the H-Town and play for the hometown team for a couple of years with Mike Bourne. Did that come in, 2011? Where were you in 2010 and then going into 2011?
So I was picked up off waivers by Houston, 2010, the winter of 2010. And I went to AAA, went to Round Rock 2010 and had a real good year. I came out the gates banging, and I was able to get called up with Chris Johnson and Castro, Jason Castro. Got called up with those guys around June, July of 10. I was able to finish out that year and the next of 2011 in the big leagues with Houston.
Well, how was it teaming up with one of the homeboys, man? Y'all back in the H, you know what I'm saying? Y'all played Little League against each other, played together a little bit in Little League. Now y'all teammates at the big league level. His pop's happy, your pop's happy, because they both kind of groomed y'all up to be the men that y'all are today. Mm-hmm. So to have them be able to just hop in the ride, drive over to Minute Maid and see y'all play, man. Speak on that experience in Houston, bro.
Yeah, man, that was huge. Not only you can come to the ballpark, but they can just turn on the TV. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like my grandparents, my uncles, cousins. Now everybody in Houston can watch me play, whether they're coming out or on the tube. So, that's huge, man. Just a lot of text messages, a lot of love, being able to play, with somebody you play Little League ball with. And a close friend too, somebody I trust, you know what I mean? Like in the same clubhouse, that's huge. That dynamic is priceless, man. We had a lot of fun, man. We did.
For sure. I know.
On the other side of it, we lost a lot of games, and that's one thing we always said, like, we keep losing. This ain't gonna last too long. Let's go and enjoy it as much as we can. And sure. They got both our tails up out of there.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, but to be able to play in the crib, at the crib, in the hometown, man, a lot of people don't get that opportunity, especially in baseball. It's so tough to make it, and not every city has a big league team. But you got a chance to play in Houston for a couple seasons. What's the most tickets you've given out for one game out there in the H, if you remember that?
Oh man, I got up to. I got up to 20 on the weekend. Man, look, my dad started getting smart on my dad after he met the ushers. He started buying dollar tickets and just coming in.
Because y'all wasn't winning, huh? Because y'all wasn't winning, right?
Because, athletes have to pay tickets. All major sports pay taxes, pay taxes on those tickets. So, man, that bill at the end of the year was huge. I was thinking to myself, what was I thinking?
Yes, but you're not saying no. Plus, you didn't want to say no, and people think we get free tickets. We didn't get free tickets, like you said. They tax you on the end of it. They're gonna give you money. They're gonna treat you right, but they're gonna find ways to take it away from you. That's for sure. So, man, you have that fun, man, and get that experience at the crib. Family get to see you. They're close by. They can reach out and touch you. You can go visit your grandparents, aunts, and uncles, and stuff like that on off days, or even morning of a game, however you want to put it. But couple seasons out there in the H-Town. Then you move elsewhere. Was that KC after H-Town?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I went from a real high, being in Houston, man, playing for the hometown team, and that's when old Jeff Lunow came in and started cleaning house. 2012, and he traded me spring 2012 with Humberto Quintero to Kansas City. Get up with KC, and I just remember being in that club. I was thinking to myself, they got all these outfielders over here. Where am I gonna fit in? and sure enough, man, they only gave me about 14 at bats and sent my tail to AAA, and called up Dyson. And I was up and down that year. It was a challenging year because I honestly feel like the year before in 2011, I kind of made a name for myself. I put up some decent numbers. I guess I felt like I proved that I was a big league guy, even if it was coming off the bench, which I thought I did well. But that's part of the game. That's part of it. I had to kind of get over and move on, and not let it creep over to 2012. But as a competitor, you know how it is once you put up the numbers and thinking you're deserving of something, and it just go to show you that you got to just keep working, because with those options left, they wanted Dyson at the time to come up and get some time. King was getting hurt, so I was filtering in for him 3 times. So I was able to get up and down for 3 or 4 times. But it was a tough year. It was a trying year. It was one of those years where it's like, dang, man, I thought I was at the top. Now I got to still prove. And I probably let it weigh on me a little bit too much. But at the same time, my game didn't change. I was still busting heads. I was, 2013, I still put up some good numbers, and I was continue to go and continue to play my game.
Yeah, and it's tough, man. Think about it. It's about 11, 12 years of kind of being on a roller coaster ride, even though you were able to reach the big leagues in 2008, and every year after that, you felt like you were kind of established in a sense because of the time you had with Houston and then going into KC. And then it's like, dang, I got to do this all over again. And now I'm going up and down, up and down. I think after the 2012 season, that's when we kind of crossed paths and started to hang out a little bit. I was overseas playing in Korea after my first year, and I was spending my off season in Houston. We had some fun times, New Year's Eve and all of that stuff. So we did it big. Yeah, man. I still think about it too, man. That was some fun times out there. But, from 12, like you said, you had that up and down season. Now, you got your lady in your corner at the time too, kind of helping you stay straight from the mental side. 13, take us on that journey. 13 and 14, was it? And I'm trying to keep track, but was it Cincy or Tampa?
Yeah, Tampa. I was in Durham. I go into Tampa, man. I thought I was going to make that team in spring training. I had a really, really good spring training. Well prepared, man. Like from jump. Sam Cole got hurt too, and that's the thing. I started playing more. But sure enough, that last week is like, he gonna be able to strap it up and play. So he got to go to Durham. Oh my God! But I knew that was a possibility, and I didn't let it like affect me at all. This year, I'm locked in, focused. Nothing can stop the motor now. And I knew from start. I knew I was going to get time. Of course, it's all about how much. But I honestly believe that year was one of my better prepared years of my career. And I had a good year in Durham. We ended up winning it, man. I had, such a fun time, man, with the dudes in Durham. We ended up winning the championship. I was able to get some time. Got about 3 weeks in with Tampa. They ended up taking me off about 3 days short of September. But I ended up going to AAA. We ended up going to the playoffs, so I was able to kind of enjoy it with the boys. Yeah. I saw you when I was out in Korea. I saw you get that a walk-off hit or something like that with Tampa. They be showing highlights of the games on the TVs out there and stuff like that. So I saw you doing work and kind of still staying on that grind in 2013. And then after that is when you went to Cincinnati, right? Yeah,
but before we dive into that, talk about the different dynamics of these clubhouses. We know with Chicago, you had the legends in there. Milwaukee, you had some veteran guys in there that took care of you. Houston, although you weren't winning a lot, you were with one of your childhood friends, still a friend of the today, teammate, all of that stuff. So talk about, we know Talk about the clubhouse vibes in each of these organizations that you've been in thus far at the big league level.
Yeah, well, I think you can kind of feel through my tone about how I was with, Casey and on a personal note, those guys are awesome. That's the World Series team I was a part of, actually. You know what I mean? And they ended up winning it a couple years later. But fun clubhouses. That team was full of prospects. So, the Heismans, the Moustakas, like I said, the Dyson Canes, you know who they are now. You know what I mean? So those are those same old dudes. I had a great time over there, man. Tampa's Joe Madden, with the whole dress-up thing.
Yeah.
The dude had mariachi dancers in the clubhouse. He had a DJ playing out there. He really set the tone on a different level when it came down to clubhouse vibes, man. David Price, those cats ran Longoria. Had a well-balanced team. Loney was there, man. So it was like a young veteran team. You know what I mean? Now I'm kind of on that line of being a veteran now. You know what I mean? So, in fact, I probably was
You're a vet. You've been through the wire. You're a vet.
Yeah. I call myself a vet. Now that I think about it, it's crazy because I wasn't really familiar with that team or that clubhouse, but they accepted me with open arms. I only had about, I don't know how many games, in about 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
They actually gave me a little playoff bonus, man.
Hey.
A $2,500 check came in around September because they made it to the playoffs. I was like, oh, that showed me love.
That's what's up.
I wasn't even expecting that. So I'm forever grateful for that little bonus, man, because that came at a time I was like, oh.
You can go do something with that. I'll do something with it.
Yeah,
or put it on the side or whatever. That's what's up.
That token right there goes to show you that clubhouse dynamic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't leave anybody short. They was always picking up the man next to them.
For sure, that appreciation, man, and showing that love, even though they weren't even a big market team, to still do that for guys says a lot about that organization. So, you go there, you hit up Cincy. Was Dusty the manager in Cincy when you were there?
No, man. He wasn't actually. Price.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Price took over. We wasn't very good. I was in Louisville actually in 2014. Was able to get the call in September. End up fracturing my scapula 2015. Bro, going to spring training. End up fracturing my scapula. I'm trying to beat out Brendan Bosch for a job in 2015. Fractured my scapula on the roster. End up rehabbing, coming back in July and finishing out the year. That was tough. We didn't win a lot of games. That team was trying to rebuild, was in the process of getting another GM. And 15, I had to sign somewhere else. I was a free agent. I'm sorry, 16. I had to sign with Arizona, and I became a free agent. But my time with Cincy was dope. I like Cincinnati. I played with the Vitos and Brandon Phillips over there.
Yeah.
Jay Bruce, Texas boy. That was cool. I had a great time, man. Chapman was fun to watch. He was a special cat to come in at the end of games to say, it's over. That was kind of cool to watch him go to work too. So, shout the clubhouse with some ballers, man.
For sure, especially Phillips. I know he was doing this thing at that time in his career. Probably just got paid, doing it and whatnot. But you got some live BP from Chapman. You said he was doing this thing. You ever stepped in the box against him and saw that 100+?
Actually a walk. It was a 4 or 5 pitch walk. I think it was a 4-pitch walk actually. He wasn't close. This was back in 2011.
Gotcha.
He was still like in that starter reliever, like trying to.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. They didn't really know what to do with him. That's when I faced him. But he didn't give me anything remotely close.
Yeah, I got you.
I might have handled a chat back.
Yeah.
I was locked in that year, Shane.
Sure, you had it on your mind, bro. So it doesn't really matter how hard whoever was throwing. When you got it on your mind, it don't even matter. So I definitely get that, man. So you go to Arizona, man. Was that your last stop? You decided to hang it up after Arizona, or did you play a little bit more after that?
Yeah, so I went to Reno. Thought I had a shot in spring training, but I ended up going to Reno. Having a really good year. I didn't play as much as I wanted to, but for the role that I was in, for that first half, I was banging. of course, it's kind of tough to say rather like you're banging in Reno because everybody know the ball just
it flies. Yeah,
I was having some quality at bats, so I ended up taking my out with Arizona. It was kind of one of those deals where I didn't want to take my out. I wanted to hang around. My boy Rick was in the big leagues. They just signed Mike Bourne, but I was thinking to myself like, I don't know if I'm gonna get a shot this year. They had Brito, which they liked in the outfield. They had a couple of prospects which they liked, and I didn't want to sit. This is my first out I ever taken. I ever opted out of anything. You know what I mean? I had options before, but this was the first time I did it. So I decided to take that out, sign back with the White Sox. In 16, I went to Charlotte, banged on them, but no love on Major League time. So I ended up signing back in 17 with the White Sox and finishing out my career.
Gotcha. 17 or 18 years, man, pro ball, in and out of the big leagues. That's a lot, especially an everyday guy. You know, people don't think that baseball is a contact sport, but you getting banged up. You suffered your first like real injury in 2016 where you had something going on, where 15 where you had to miss time. But you're beating your body up every day, you know, running the bases, sliding, making plays, so on and so forth. So to last that long, man, it's a credit to you taking care of your body, number one, and number two, producing every year to continually get those opportunities. Albeit you probably would have liked to stuck around in the big leagues a little bit longer, but you were getting opportunity to continue to chase that dream and produce, add to that pension and whatever else you wanted to do when it comes to getting that big league time. So, you know, when you decide to hang them up, man, was it bittersweet? How did you or was it something like, you know what, that's that. I did what I needed to do. I'm okay with shutting it down. Speak on how I felt to hang those spikes up.
Oh man, I actually signed to play in Cancun in 2018.
Okay.
I was not affiliate, but I was in Cancun in 18. Man, I was loving it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not all about that nightlife, which you can't be because you don't have time because it's so hot and you can prepare and play, like, you can really enjoy Cancun, especially with the family coming down, man. Had a great first half. We went to Game 7 of the semifinals. We ended up losing that first season. They ended up cutting my ass, like, with only, 9 games in or whatever. I was, like, at 252. They want to go another direction. I was hot. I'm not going to lie. I was pissed off at that one. But right then I said I gave them the rest of that summer to sign me in Mexico. I hit up a couple of people. I couldn't get a job. So I said, all right, my summer's over. Now I'm going back to winter ball where I had connections. So I know we didn't tap on that. But it's been 6, stints in winter ball in Mexico. So I ended up signing with Mexicali. I was doing decent. I was holding my own. They want me to hit at the top of the lineup. I'm like, man, no, that ain't me. I be around the 6'7".
For sure.
You know what I mean? But anyway, that's another subject.
It's all good. I get what you're saying.
yeah, but that competitive nature always come out. You get me back in the modes when I start talking about those times. But at the time, man, I expressed to a close friend of mine, Sid Hollins in Houston, who's a hitting coach, that I'm looking to get into coaching. Like, I had enough. I seen enough. I believe I even can manage. Right now I'm getting my foot in the door. But the Dodgers called, and I jumped on the opportunity, man, and to stay in the game. It's something that at one point I said, man, I could never do this. I could never coach. I'm getting out this game, entrepreneurship. I'm about to do this. I'm about to start up something new. And then this opportunity comes when I'm living in LA. Almost 1 foot out of the door, trying to get back to the H. And then LA calls, and it's like, hold on, let me chill. So, I've had a lot of those moments throughout my career, man. I've been blessed. The baseball gods is definitely looking out for me, in a sense,
For sure. I'm with you, man. And that's part of the journey, the time you had in Mexico in 18, and even those winter ball stints you had along the way probably helped you gain that experience going into those next seasons when it's time for you to compete for that job. Because we know playing winter ball, and I played winter ball a few times, playing in those different countries, you have those guys that may play pro ball here in the States, or even playing in the summer league in Mexico that come together and play winter ball. Now they're trying to get jobs. Those guys that may play in Mexico in the summertime, trying to get looks from major league teams in the States. And then we know the guys that play in the States, they come back home, they trying to show out because their people don't get to see them play. So now they get to see them play in the wintertime. You got to face that every day as an everyday player. So you got to come with your mind right every night over there. So it definitely prepares you for that next season of pro ball here in the States. So that's definitely part of the journey, definitely part of the growth of you as a ball player. And I keep up with you, man, and see every winter you be doing your thing now out there in Mexico. And then the summer, you get those calls to the big leagues and stuff like that. So to hang around for that amount of time, more than 18 years at the professional level is huge, man. And that's definitely a big time accomplishment. Just think about where you came from to where you are now. You're into the coaching now, even though you thought, man, I'm done with the game. I'm gonna go ahead and do my own thing. Mm-hmm. The passion that you had, it kept pulling you back. So, we got a few more minutes, but talk about that experience thus far. Even though you're still young in your career of coaching, how much of an adjustment or what has it been that has kept you, I guess, hungry for the knowledge and hungry to kind of do more from the coaching standpoint?
The give back, you know what I mean? It's huge for me right now. Just on the mental side and personal side, like kind of see that affirmation of guys like getting better, man. And I would never take sole possession of it, but just seeing a guy, you giving them a little tip here and there, being responsive, you know what I mean, like to it and going out there and making that adjustment quickly. My focus is more on defense and base running and the little things in the game. That's something that I took personal pride in. So I try my best to sharpen that up a little bit and stay abreast on it. And what the organization has let me, kind of be myself. And I was the fourth coach in Great Lakes, and I was slotted to be the fourth coach again in Rancho. So having that freedom to kind of, handle the outfield defense and things like that, man, it's been cool. But I'm always, holding in the back pocket of maybe one day managing. I'm always looking at the wide. I look at the diamond like this for sure. You know what I mean? I try to mentally dive into the game. I try my best to watch as much baseball as I can. Right now, I do watch the Dodgers. Like, I watch them every day. Any chance I get, I really dive into this. This is a first-class organization, man, that's giving guys a lot of autonomy to, like, do their thing and, like, just to be themselves, man. And I'm loving it, man. I really am. That's
what's up, man. Rancho, that's high A. I know you said you were slated to go to Rancho, but with COVID-19 obviously shutting down the seasons, what good is the knowledge if you can't share it, right? And that's what you're getting to do from the standpoint, not only from the physical side of the game, but the mental side of the game, and being able to help these young prospects and talented ball players get over that hump best way you can. How have you handled COVID, man, with the fam? I know you got a young daughter, you got wife, and you not being able to coach and be out there on a daily basis right now. The dog days of August, we all know it's a grind, especially in the minor leagues. And, this will be the tail end of the season right here. How have you been handling that, being at home a lot, being around the family a lot, and not really getting to dive into the baseball side like you would want to?
It's tough, man. I feel bad for the kids, the youngsters, man. The minor leaguers, they got cut short, you know what I mean? And they didn't get a chance to go out and prove themselves. And being a former player, how important every game is, how important every season is to try to, stack for next year, try to make those deposits, in yourself for next year. And, I feel bad because I wouldn't know what to do as a player. I wouldn't. I can't even like put myself in that position. I can encourage and be like, sure, if I was in this position, I can do this, but I don't know what it feels like.
Yeah.
But on another note, personally, it's been tough. Just as of late, I've been able to go out to our extra guys at USC and work them out and be a part of our
taxi club.
Yeah. The taxi club. That's what I was looking to say. Yeah, the taxi club. So that's been cool, man. We got some ballers, man, that can go. So it's kind of cool being around them every day. Kind of keeping them prepared. Reminding them that they have an opportunity right now that no one else has. But they giving me a lot of energy, man. They coming every day to work. So this has been good, a blessing as of late. It was tough there. It was tough there for a few months, and especially with the news and everything going on, it kind of started dogpiling.
Yeah.
I keep telling myself I'm gonna stop saying 2020, stop talking about 2020.
For sure.
I mean, stop saying the words 2020 and take it day by day and make it through this year.
That's how we got to do it, man. You know, you're talking about the pandemic and then the social issues, the climate right now when it comes to race relations and stuff like that is something that we're dealing with. You know, something we've always dealt with from the baseball side of things, believe it or not. But it has always been a worldwide thing. It's just more so now. It's out there in the spotlight, and people aren't afraid to voice how they feel about what's going on in the world when it comes to the treatment of Blacks. So, and then you got the evolution of social media and things of that nature. So, how has it been though? Just being around the fam a lot, man. Just being around wifey and your baby girl, man. How has that been?
Awesome, man. You know, I get to go in the studio now and with wife, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she be writing them things, huh?
I'm about to drop a high 16.
From the H-Town right up the dome, huh? H-Town freestyle.
I'm doing more babysitting than anything, man.
For sure.
Get close to the little one, man, getting a chance to go take her to tennis lessons. You know, we're starting to hit that tennis ball a little bit, trying to test her hand out, see if she wanted or not. But she don't want to listen to daddy. She want a friend there, and they can play together, boy. She had that friend and the coach. She was locked in. If it just came up like that, I don't want to do this. Let's do something different. You know, it's a process, but
sure.
it's been fun, man. It's definitely my greatest blessing, man. She'll give me a hug and call us twins. So she knows like that we look alike. So we're pretty tight, man. We getting tight about a day. My family as a whole, with most of our family being in Houston. So we holding it down at Cali style, man.
For sure.
Cali style.
For sure. You gotta love that, man. I waited till I was a senior citizen, man, to have a kid, but I got a baby girl myself. Huh?
How old now?
Me, I'm 40. But baby girl gonna be 11 months on Tuesday, bro. So yeah, she walking all over the place now, bro. She can't keep still, be talking, trying to dance and all of that, man. So it's been fun though to be at home with that. You know, I can't imagine what it would be like if I had to be on the road during that time. So I've been blessed in that situation to kind of see baby girl kind of grow day by day. Not only with this quarantine, but I am, retired and not on the road like talking about no more. So being in LA, man, you got the Rockets hat on, bro. You don't wear that in public, do you?
Every day. If they on, it's on. And even on off days, I'm sporting this thing.
For sure. What them boys gonna do in the playoffs though? What they gonna do?
First of all, they gotta handle OKC tomorrow. That's it.
Yeah.
1 day at a time. But if we get a chance to play the Lakers, it's gonna be so cool to watch because you get to see a total opposite, offensive approach compared to what the Rockets are doing. Rockets been playing pretty good defense as of late. Westbrook is back.
Yeah.
I don't know how healthy he really is. I'm a little afraid of that. I'm not gonna lie, because he is he's an explosive player. He's not no big. Of course. So he got to move fast, man, and that always scares me, especially when you have experience of pulling muscles upon a personal note. You know how that could prolong. Or maybe even come back. So there's a lot of question marks right there. I'm always roll with my boys, but they gonna have their hands full with these Lakers.
For sure. It's been a grind with OKC. That's been a war in the trenches, man, just because you think about Westbrook and Chris Paul being swapped out for each other and kind of whether some bad blood between the two organizations or between Chris Paul and the Rockets, we don't know. But, yeah, hopefully they take care of business. And I'd like to see that series with L.A. and see how that would go, man. I don't know, man. I know you're going to be bleeding with Rocket gear on if that series happens, especially when they come – when them boys are playing. It sucks that they can't play because of COVID. They got to be in that bubble. But to see how much Houston fans come to LA when they play and stuff like that, that's the one bittersweet thing about the playoffs right now. You can't really experience the home court and home fans and all of this other stuff. So, but man, look, we done chopped it up a lot, man. We hopped in the slab and we done swang and bang for about an hour or so. I got a couple of more things before I let you go, man. If you got about another 3 to 5 minutes, we can bust this out and shut it down.
Man. Yeah, you know,
there's been a classic episode for sure, you know, sharing that story, you know, and the things that you did to keep yourself going, man, and to make it through 18 plus years of pro ball. You could have easily given up in year 5 or 6, you know what I'm saying, and been done with that, but you stayed around for another 12 plus years after that. So diving into it, man, I always ask a few questions at the end, you know, best answers that come to mind. Shoot them out there, tell me. So I'm going to start out with this one. What's the best city or stadium that you played in?
Well, they're not the same. Best city I played in, gotta say Houston.
Of course, it's the crib.
Best stadium, it's a push. Because I really like LA, but I'm about to go with San Diego.
Ooh, that's 2 right there. I could get that 1A, that 1 and 1A now.
Yeah.
Chavez Ravine, just that everything about Chavez Ravine, 50,000 dogs. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And San Diego is great too for whatever reasons. I love playing there too, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's sure. What's up. I'll take 1 and 1A with that one, man. But H-Town, definitely, that's the crib. You gotta love playing at the house. You gotta love doing that. So other than that, man, what? I guess this an answer, but I might be wrong. But you said you like LA and San Diego. So were you a home or away guy? Or you enjoy playing more on the road or at home?
Probably on the road. I just love going to new places. Even like last year, being in the Midwest League for the first time, going to those stadiums for the first time, those little bitty towns, just something to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I go to my little breakfast spots in the morning, just something, you know, a whole nother scenery, man. I mean, game has brought me so far. There's still a couple of little towns and cities I haven't seen.
Yeah.
In my LB baseball, so it's kind of cool. I like being on the road a lot.
For sure, I'm a road guy too. For a couple of reasons, you know, checking out the malls in other cities, obviously being a pitcher, and if I'm slated to pitch on that particular road trip, going out there and doing your thing against the opposing team when you know everybody's against you. That was one of my things. And then lastly, when I was a single man, you know, the extracurricular activities on the road, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get nobody in trouble. That's why I say when I was a single man, you know, the extracurricular, but I'm with you on those too. So I'm gonna change it up a little bit now.
All right.
Favorite athlete of all time?
Oh, Muhammad Ali.
Oh, can't go wrong with that one.
Yeah,
can't go wrong with that one.
Ali, at the time that he did what he was doing and how he did it, to make a long story short, I just
against all odds, bro. Against all odds, man. When you think about that and to be able to persevere through things in that climate at the time, for sure. You know, for him, they sent him to jail because he didn't want to go to the war.
Yeah,
came out and yeah, man, it's crazy. Came out and still did his thing. So that's a classic right there. That's a classic pick right there. I never got that one yet. So
for sure, bro.
Yeah, I got 2 more for you, man. I got 2 more for you.
All right.
I got 3, but I'm gonna pick 2 out of the 3.
Oh, good.
As a ball player, man, and it's a series, you had any superstitions?
Oh man, superstitions. You know, I go through them, man. From bat tape back in the day when I was coming up, I used to have my bat taped a certain way until I was able to make my own model, make my own handle.
Okay, you got to the big leagues and you had some choices. You could do whatever you wanted.
Yeah. But I had to make sure my knob was right. So the knob, breakfast places in the morning certain cities, I still do that. I got to go to eat the same thing. Probably especially if we get a win or a game, I made sure I go hit up the same spot, places to eat. Besides that, man, look, my biggest probably superstition, as I said, prep during the anthem.
That's what's up. Had to do that.
One thing from day one to now that I do during the national anthem is pray.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Different dynamics right there. For me, it was a certain type of bubble gum, PB&J. My music, I had to have my music and stuff like that. I got a whole slew of them, but that's just like the top 3 that I had to have moving forward. So I'm going to get one more from you, bro. One more. Baseball card or video game?
Baseball card.
Yeah. Why? Why you? Because I know a lot of guys pick the video game for certain reasons, but baseball card for me, I'm a baseball card guy too because I used to trade them. But for you, why you think that's the same reason you prefer that one?
I used to trade them as well, and it's kind of, I stopped when I kind of got into pro ball, and I stopped playing video games. When I stopped playing video games, when I got into pro ball. I don't know. I slowly faded out of both. But if I had to pick a two, I would probably go cards for sure, man.
Yeah.
Collect stuff, man, and trade them out. I'm gonna bring that collection out one day too and put it on social media. A few items I have, man, that my Buck O'Neil ball, earthquake broke the earthquake. We had shattered my case, but I got another case. But I got a Buck O'Neil ball, got a Hank Aaron ball that's close to me, and a Barry Bonds rookie card autograph. It's probably that tops that Pirates. Oh yeah. I think it's a 80. I think
it's probably 80 for sure. It's probably 80. Yeah, early 80s for sure.
That classic one. I got him to sign it, man, as a kid in the Astrodome. Mr. Bonds.
That's what's up.
Well, I took off. That Barry Bonds to me is the ace in the hole, probably.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about, man. And collecting cards, that was a thing. We always did, and now you see yourself in a pack of cards. You know what I'm saying? And kids or whomever asking for your autographs. So that's always something that you think about when you look back on your career, or even when you're in the moment and you're seeing, okay, man, that's me, and that's action, and I'm in a big league uniform, so on and so forth. So, Booj, man, I definitely appreciate you hopping on, taking some time out. I know you're a busy man with the fam, and doing things with the Dodgers when it comes to the taxi club and helping guys stay ready in case they get that big league call. Definitely a classic story, man, a classic journey. Learning your whole background and what it took you to make it to the highest level is something that kids, not only kids, but even guys that's playing pro ball need to hear and know about, because it was strictly a grind for you, and you could have easily given up, as I mentioned before, but you didn't. You stuck with it. And now you're sharing that knowledge with up-and-coming professional prospects on the baseball side of things, hoping to be a manager someday. I definitely hope you get there, bro. I definitely hope you get to that point where you're managing, climb your ladder, and maybe be in the big leagues one day. So, hey, man, much love, continued success, brother. This is the League Talk Podcast, and we out of here.
Appreciate it, Shane.
For sure, bro. Appreciate you.